Business Network. So much for one broadcast.
Hello everyone, it's another beautiful day and thank you very much for joining us. You're watching the EOM Business Network, indeed the voice of corporate Nigeria. I am Olorogo Elkanah Mawari. Today on the program, we shall be taking a look at the Nigerian economy from the viewpoint of industry operators. On Spot On, we shall bring you a serial entrepreneur, author, astute project manager, team player, and industry captain, Ope Onaboye, who is the co-founder and chief executive officer of Renda Africa Limited, Africa's leading order fulfillment solutions for enterprise and medium-sized businesses, and indeed one of the most distinguished CEOs to look up to in 2024. Ope Onaboye, a serial entrepreneur, author, astute project manager, team player, and industry captain, is the co-founder and chief executive officer of Renda Africa Limited, Africa's leading order fulfillment solution for enterprise and medium-sized businesses, and indeed one of the most distinguished CEOs to look up to in 2024.
What does it take to be successful in a business environment like Nigeria?
The question first is, what does success mean, right? And I think for every business, success is different. You have to look at the stage of the business. Yeah, everybody thinks that success is when you're a Dangote, right? But you have to look at where you are. We are only a 2-year-old business, and I think for us, what success looks like is what are the goals that we set for ourselves every single year. So every year we want to achieve certain, revenue targets. We want to achieve certain targets on technology. We want to achieve certain targets on customers. So I think for us, success has to be continuous on a yearly basis. And I think every business has to see themselves like that. Because I feel like sometimes businesses put too much pressure on themselves, wanting to build what Dangote built in 40 years in just, 2 years, especially in our current startup space. So I think to be successful in Nigeria, you have to be clear on what you are trying to build. You have to be clear on what milestones you are trying to achieve as you're growing as a business. And then, as you are hitting those milestones, be able to tap yourself on the back, be able to say, hey, So I think that's the first thing, right? Be clear on where you are as a business and be clear on what your milestones need to look like. And like you mentioned, I think technical skills are important, knowing how to do what you're doing. But what's also important are the soft skills. You mentioned doggedness, right? Tenacity. Africa is, I've run businesses in the UK and then in Africa, right? Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana. Nigeria is one of the toughest markets to run a business in Africa. So you have to have that tenacity. Tenacity meaning that, hey, you have to be ready for whatever comes. I remember 2022 when we sat down and we did a financial model. We did the planning for 2023. I spent like 2 months with consultants, coming up with a good financial model. And then January 2023, you wake up and it was scarcity. So everything you spent 2 years creating became redundant. The same thing happened in 2019. I remember 2019 December, we had a retreat. We brought in a consultant. That was with my other business. And we did a fancy, strategy for 2020. And then you wake up in 2020 March and the whole world was shut down. Yeah. So which is that everything that you planned for also. So I think the first thing is being able to tenacity, which means, hey, you have to be dogged enough to say, you know what, I know what I'm trying to achieve and I have to pull through. And secondly is, and I think this is critical, you must be able to adapt very fast, right? Adapt means that you must be able to know when what you're doing that is not working, right? Sometimes some people want to stick their head into something and say, because tenacity doesn't mean that you're doing the same thing constantly. It means that you're still trying to achieve the same mission, but you're figuring out how to do it in different ways. So it means that when something comes at me, I know that this thing is come at me. I didn't see it coming, but I'm not going to dwell on it. So I think for founders or for business owners, those skills are very important. Apart from just saying, okay, I'm good at the technical aspect of what I do. The question is how easy am I, how quickly am I able to adapt to changes in the environment? Because we're in an environment where things are changing very quickly. So I think those are the things that I think are very critical for business owners.
Renda Africa Limited, how did this great brand, how did it start?
I've been in business for 13 years. Renda is my third business. And I've always built businesses to solve problems. So I don't build business because, someone says there's money here. I build business because I found a problem and I really want to solve that problem. And Renda started because I saw a problem with businesses across Nigeria that were trying to scale. So I saw people starting businesses, but the ability to scale was a problem. So I saw people that were storing items in their houses, people that were, that were losing money, people that were getting items damaged. I saw people that were trying to scale, but having access to affordable logistics was a problem. So I thought, you know what, why don't we build a solution? Why don't we build something that, number one, can make it easier for people to scale their businesses? Number two, it can also simplify access to fulfillment infrastructure. So for example, I want to launch my business across Nigeria. I want to store my items across Nigeria. So I want to access storage facilities. It should be easy. I want to be able to process those orders on a daily basis. I don't have to worry about picking, packing, and all those kind of stuff. And most importantly too, I want to deliver whatever volume of items I need to deliver on a daily basis. I don't need to be chasing 10 logistic companies. Let me just, provide solution with one platform. And that's what we built Renda. So it's basically an end-to-end technology solution that ensures that businesses can just focus on scaling their business and they can access the entire fulfillment infrastructure.
And this is where we bring down the curtains on today's package of the EOM Business Network. Thank you very much for spending your valued time with us. We hope it was worth your while.